Good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. How does that relate to taxes? Well, there is a possibility to make a good deed while filing your tax return. And you can do that every year and it literally costs you nothing. So I'm not talking about paying taxes per se, which is something you have to do and it's a good thing for the society, but I'm referring to the possibility of redirecting part of your taxes to certain noble causes. So the Italian tax system allows the 0.8% as well as the 0.5 and 0.2 to be redirected to certain causes. First of all, let's start to say that this is not an extra tax. It's part of your taxes. You can choose to send it to someone else. In the first case, you have the 0.8%, which means that for every 1,000 euros of taxes, you can say that 8 euros go to a church or remain to the state. So you cannot decide every church, but there is actually a list you can check on your tax return and you should take one option. Or you can leave it to the state. And from this year on, it is also possible to choose like the actual cost to give it to the state. For instance, world hunger, third world projects, natural disaster prevention, etc., etc. The second option is the 0.2%. So every 1,000 euros of taxes paid, you can redirect 2 euros to any political party that makes the list. So there is a list on your tax return and you can decide to provide them with your 2 euros every 1,000. And finally, there is the 5 every 1,000 euros, 0.5%, that can be redirected to non-government organizations, non-profit, volunteer organization, sport amateur clubs, or the local municipality commune activities for the population. Well, and also I forgot to say the scientific research. So you can decide to take any option, or you can also decide to give your 0.5% to any organization. And if you want to appoint that to an organization, you have to put that organization's codice fiscale in the tax return. So you not only say, I want to give my money to scientific research, but I want to give my money to that organization within the scientific research area. Now, is it mandatory to do that? No, it isn't. Like, you can definitely skip that form. However, you can do that. But what happens if you don't take anything? Well, in that case, the undecided resources will be redirected to any organization that participated into the distribution, depending on the percentage. So let's say that 80% of the 0.8% tax area, the 80% option, they chose the state. Also, 80% of the undecided will go to the state. Now, this is very easy, this is free, it doesn't cost you much, but it can make a big impact, especially for small and local non-government amateur sport clubs and volunteer organizations. They normally lack of funds and resources, and this can be a good way to support them while filing your return.